ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lads Discuss Death Battle. Joining us with this controversial episode is your only mate.
Great. Another gross controversy.
Well, at least this one actually has ties towards this episode. And coming in with his usual shawniness? Shawnee.
This controversy isn't just yours to talk about.
No, I thought you were building up to something there, the way your tone was.
I made it fit with my mate's intro.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Yes, so we're going to be talking about Bardock versus Omni-Man. We're going to be talking about the next time, which I was really surprised that this is the second episode of the Return of Death Battle. And we also got a third topic. Yes, I know, because technically we already had a second topic.
Same match will be talked about another day, by the way, for those asking.
Yeah. Looking at some comments from our last discussion from Purple Demon, I agree, makes sentiment. The three dominoes is the best. I mean, I might as well give that a shout out.
Can you argue with that?
No, it's just I don't know, just thought I'd give it a shout out.
Free pizza.
And from Fireball RKO, right now siding with Bardock. Just picturing Bardock. I'm just picturing Bardock.
So is that means bisexual? No, it means Bardock is now a Bionicle.
Oh god, Bionicles, man. Did you guys used to collect those as kids?
Yes. I collected a couple.
Yeah, I remember loving the movies as a kid. Not sure how much they hold up now. Anyway, but yeah, now I'm also just picturing Bardock, just his Saint armor just has the pride flag. Oh no, Dragon Ball's gone woke. No. From right now, signing with Bardock. However, the tease from the Kickstarter coming has me hyped, not gonna lie. I have one match for Stalker and Warframe, potentially against an anime character. I may discuss it later on. However, I'm so glad we are back. This might be an unpopular opinion. Am I the only one getting sick of the whole we are so effing back? Like, I understand, like, you know, when they got funded and everything, but my god, every reaction I'm subscribed to, I've just gotten sick of hearing that phrase. It's like,
because we're excited to have new Death Battle episodes.
I know. It's just...
I just put it in my title for the clickbait.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like it's like when I kept hearing based so much. I just got so sick of hearing that phrase, like so based. It's becoming.
Yeah, welcome to how I feel every time you play this. I come back. I come back.
Sean, I'll make you a promise. Like last
deal
year.
With it.
Sean, I'll make you a deal. Like last year, I won't use the Bantha joke at all. And then the year after that, I'll bring it back.
Why do I not believe you?
From Starshock, he has a long comment, so I'll put it on screen for people, but he basically agrees with a lot of our takes for our hot takes video. Like, for instance, he points out how he agrees with like 80% of the joke matches he sees these days, because mate brought up how joke matches just not interesting, and yeah, I can kind of see what both are saying. Yeah, so thanks for your comment, people, and if you want to shout in the video, leave us some comments. Then they can either be related to the video or just not at all, just like the whole Domino's pizza thing. We're keeping that going. But now it's time to...
Not sponsored, yet.
Yet. Oh, Christ. I just worry how they would want us to represent them. But let's find out...
You know what? You know how they would do it? Let's debate Domino's versus Pizza Hut.
Well, we're all going to agree Domino's is better.
Probably.
Pizza have the better commercials. I'll give them that. But
they have as good a commercials as Omni-Man versus Bardock, though.
Well, let's finally talk about this controversial episode because, boy, it's like Death Battle never left us. We not only got our first Death Battle this year, we also got our first controversial episode this year. And given the next time's also another controversial subject, I'm just like, well, we are certainly back.
Yeah, it's like Death Battle never left.
So...
It's like people are comparing this to Ben versus Hal again.
Yeah, well, given how much we're teasing it, yeah, so, Omni-Man won. And...
The surprise of almost everybody.
People are... Now, okay, maybe it's because I'm using an outdated like to dislike ratio on my screen, on my browser. But yeah, they don't have as many dislikes. Again, no, it could be because I'm using outdated software for my PLC likes and dislikes. However, if you look in the comments, yeah, people are mad. And I'm not saying, oh, they disagree. No, people are mad at this.
Oh, yeah. The Death Battle Reddit was pretty mad, too.
Twitter was mad. Literally, Bardock was trending, not because of the new Dragon Ball game coming out, which I won't lie, I am actually quite hyped. It's been a while since I've been hyped for a Dragon Ball game. But literally, Bardock's name was trending because he lost. I was like, wow.
Bill, is everything okay with your mic?
Oh, don't tell him I'm doing the squirrel thing again.
Not on my end, no.
Oh, Sean, you might be having... Like, oh, okay, yeah. So, Sean, it was a you issue. Sounds like you were the squirrel all along, Sean.
What's he twist?
Sean, are you available? Was Sean ever here? Did he ever exist, mate? Have we always been recording with no one?
What if he was just a figment of our imaginations all along?
Man, that makes the... I asked questions about our Dungeons and Dragons segment. It's like, wait, who the hell have we been listening to this whole time?
Could you imagine if... Oh, I was about to drop a weird theory.
We'll drop... Alright, joking aside before we drag on joke. Okay, so... Before we talk about our opinions on the outcome, let's actually talk about how this episode... Because in my opinion, regardless of what my opinion is on the outcome at the moment, this was a hardcore episode to bring Death Battle back on, right? Holy crap, the editing of the analysis...
Oh, for sure.
The humor was great. The fight was brilliant. I will admit... Omni-Man's model kind of reminds me of those old... to be honest, I'm not sure if you guys ever saw this, but I remember when they used to advertise like those Ken dolls and like the DC outfits, like Ken Superman. Yeah, I won't lie.
Oh my god, I can kind of see it now.
Yeah, Omni-Man just kind of looks like a Ken model brought to life. But to be fair, I understand why they had him look like that. They wanted him to look more anime-esque to fit with Bardock's model, because they try and have the animation kind of like fit. Hence why they used Superman's Fortnite model against Goku. Does that just make me why they didn't just use Fortnite Omni-Man? Because, I mean, let me break it down, Mark.
I thought you were talking to me for a sec.
No, it's like this meme where when Omni-Man's about to talk to his son, he goes like, let me break it down, Mark, and he starts doing a default dance in front of him. It's a classic clip. People have done some great edits of it. But, yeah, so let's actually talk about, first off, the analysis portion of this episode. And first off, yes, people, Wiz and Boomstick are gone. Physically.
At least for the time being, it's most likely due to, like, just budget cuts.
Yeah. Now, this might sound weird, and don't want this to sound, like, harsh or anything like that, because I used to praise, like, seeing Wiz and Boomstick a lot. I'm actually kind of glad they're gone now. Because, one, this just took me back to classic Death Battles when they relied on, like, both their humour with their writing, but also, like, the visual, how you can envision the scenes coming out. Like, there was an episode when Wiz was explaining when Boomstick came into work naked. Now that we see the characters, we can kind of get an idea of how hilarious and disturbing that was. And to be honest, I felt like the jokes really worked in this episode. One, because they were not, like, dragged on. Like, they just hit you with the joke. Like, you know, Boomstick saying, like, man, these Goku look like that. Got to stop fighting these caped heroes. And it's like, it was quick and snappy, and it was just like, that was pretty good.
Actually, at this point, it's just Saiyans.
Yeah, and...
Because Thor wears a red cape, and he beat Vegeta.
Yeah, and...
That's why Broly beat Hulk. No cape.
Damn.
Edna's advice killed Hulk.
God damn. Agno, you were wrong. Also, the sidebars are also funny because I love the whole, like, the sidebar when it said, like, can do Fortnite dances with the best of them.
That was funny.
Yeah. Like,
funny how?
Well, it's just because, you know, he was in Fortnite, and to be honest, the idea of Omni-Man just using an AK-47 while doing a default dance is just... Look, okay, as much as people like to cringe
it's horrible, is what it is.
I know people like to cringe at Fortnite, but come on, the visual of these iconic characters doing the default dance, the freaking Xenomorph from Aliens doing the default dance, Superman doing it. Come on, man, it's funny. I don't care what people say. I may not be into Fortnite, but I can respect humor like that. I mean,
Yeah, but at least you're not like praising Fortnite for having this particular character into it. Then they do anything else, and you're just like, "Oh my god, this is so cringe."
I mean, hell, when we were doing Katara versus Rain, I was just going through all the dances that they were giving. I was like, man, what would be the funniest to show on screen? And when she was doing the bird dance, I was like, oh yes, that's the one. That's the one. Oh my god. But yeah, the analysis is just funny. Like, and I rarely ever talk about the humor with Death Battle analysis because it's kind of hit or miss with some of their humor sometimes. But no, for a good portion of the analysis, I was chuckling, I was laughing because they were on point, and they didn't rely on like Boomstick and Wiz like overtaking like the screen to drag out a joke. Sometimes it worked, other times it didn't, in my opinion.
I also just love the edits in Bardock's analysis when Boomstick is all, he'll run you over, break your spine, light you on fire, and then move on to the next guy.
Yeah, it was great. I also have to give credit as well. The analysis kind of made me respect Bardock a few inches more. Granted, most of my respect
Oh,
for him...
mate.
Oh, fuck off.
Naughty me.
Go to horny jail.
Hey, if you send me there, everyone there's me.
And I'm pretty sure Yang the Insane now is probably going, "That's my joke! I'll kill you!"
I'm pretty sure it was the internet's joke first.
Oh, come on. You know what the internet's like. They find something funny and then they claim that's their joke. Kind of like that's content.
Just
Anyway.
like how she stole one of mine.
Oh, come on, mate.
You can't see me, but I dabbed.
Oh, come on, mate. You steal jokes from everyone.
And I am not of being a hypocrite.
But yeah, in terms of the like analysis portion for Bardock, yes, again, it was funny, and also, admittedly, a lot of his whole like, oh, maybe respect him, it mostly came from the retcon stuff, because yeah, trying to watch like the super stuff with Bardock and his wife, but then remembering what he was like in the original film or short is like, yeah, he wasn't a nice person in that. It's just because, you know, retcons and stuff like that. Hey, at least this retcon wasn't like just forgetting about a character existing and just never acknowledged them again.
Poor Launch.
Yeah, any particular highlights from the analysis for me though? Like, not particularly. I can understand the headache covering which is canon for Bardock, because the only thing we know that is concrete for Bardock was that, you know, the original film, and also, you know, the super stuff, like with him and his family, and also kind of Xenoverse, even though it's kind of like... It's weird, because I like the fact they even kind of address that, because technically in Xenoverse, the Bardock in that game is meant to be the one from the anime universe. But then you kind of question, okay then, if he's able to go on par with these sort of characters, how the hell did Frieza manage to one-shot him? It's power scaling, people. Power scaling's bullcrap.
As we'll get into.
Yeah. Like, somehow Piccolo just fusing with Nail is capable of fighting Frieza in his next form, even though he could barely beat Vegeta. Even Nail couldn't even beat Frieza, so it's like, yeah, Dragon Ball... People complain about Marvel and DC not being consistent, like, oh, Superman can beat Darkseid, but he can't beat Hercules. It's like, okay then, Goku can survive being blasted up from a planet, but he got grazed by a gun. Explain that.
You can't.
So, yeah.
Oh, you had the perfect chance to... Sean, you should have said, that's the fun part. You don't.
Yeah, god damn it, Sean. You failed us. Think, Sean, think.
I was about to say, you should have let the Invincible fan here do the joke then.
Yeah. Also, do you know what? I know that think thing is so overused. I did kind of like how they used it in this episode. It was pretty good. Yeah, overall, my opinion on the analysis is it was funny, it was informative, and yeah, overall, it was entertaining. Now, even when I go back to rewatch the episode, I tend to watch the analysis as well, which I rarely ever do for Death Battles. And again, I just have to praise the editing. The editing's just great. Like, the
editing's fantastic.
Like, I can't remember who it was that tweeted out how they edited it, but you know what? Credit to you. I'll probably put a screenshot on there just to shout you out. Or mate's probably going to say it right now.
I can't remember exactly.
What? Mate can't correct me on something? Impossible. Unless he's throwing me through a loop and he's just about to do it right now.
No, I legit just can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh damn! I must actually be.
I can pull the episode and try looking through the credits.
Yeah, I can't be bothered because YouTube on the TV is very awkward. If you fast forward, rewind, or pause it, it like buffers. YouTube, what the hell are you doing with your website these days? Yeah, that's my final say until we get to the fight. I thought the analysis was pretty good. He was pretty good. Do you guys have any things you want to critique or praise?
I mean, one thing I'll praise analysis-wise, I love how Bardock's like wraps up. Like the whole thing about like his sacrifice and letting Goku thrive, meaning so much more to the world than he could ever know. Like that whole thing about him becoming a Super Saiyan and learning ways to be a true Saiyan right at the very end, and how proud Kakarot would be if he gave a shit. Yeah, it just felt like a really profound way of wrapping it up. Also, the name Dildo Dickhead for Frieza. That made me laugh.
Now I'm just picturing like the Mortal Kombat style intros where Johnny Cage would say to the Xenomorph, going, "Your head looks like a dildo." Now I'm picturing him saying that to Frieza.
That'd be the last thing I say before he kills me.
You know what? If you're gonna die to a piece of shit, you know what? Go out insulting them.
Yeah, I'm at least gonna piss you off.
Like, that'll just be me, like, oh no, some dictator's about to execute me. Do you want to plea for your life? It's like, no, but does your wife want to plead for my dick again? It's like, you know what? It's like, you know what? I'm going out on that note. Because it's like, yeah, I'm dead, but you know what? I'm going to get to the pearly gate, and St. John's just going to be like, nice.
The lead editor was DJ Tiki, and another editor was Marshall Johnson.
I thought he said John Marston, and I was like, damn, he's an old bastard.
That's Galaxy Max, I believe, is like his username.
Is that all you got
also,
to say? Oh, never mind.
I'm also putting this in our group chat. There's a manga panel of Gine that I absolutely love, and I'm so happy they showed it. And it's this one.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
I love that so much.
I think Gine's...
That's where the Superman similarity came from.
Gine's not a bad character. I do think she was just shoehorned in just to give, Bardock, like, that humanity side. Like, she really just did not fit, especially when you see the women in Bardock's story. It's like, it's a bit weird. She's adorable, though, so it's like, yeah, she doesn't fit, but I like her. She's cute.
Also, it adds to just how Goku's relatives aren't, like, traditional Saiyans.
Yeah, true.
Like, Gine is the softest, sweetest Saiyan ever. Raditz was a trickster, coward, that sort of thing. Goku is Goku. And, well, Bardock learned to become the truest Saiyan, and that was in part thanks to her.
I would have loved to have seen, like, what Akira would have planned with, Raditz. Like, because he was clearly going to be for so much more. I feel like he was going to be the Vegeta. Before Vegeta became Vegeta, I feel like Raditz was going to be the Vegeta.
Yeah, like, that's probably what it was, but then he couldn't be asked to draw Raditz's hair, so he was just like, alright, I'm just going to kill him.
They couldn't do something simple, like, I don't know, he got a flipping haircut. I bet in this day...
Or just, I don't know, a ki blast, like, just takes off a massive chunk of his hair. And then boom, he looks exactly like Vegeta, only taller.
I mean, you know what, Toriyama, God rest his soul, like, he was brilliant when it came to, like, visuals and stuff like that, storytelling and character designs, and he could even be lazy at times, like, I mean, to be honest, if you saw the working conditions for manga and anime writers, I too would try and cut corners because it is exhausting.
Yeah. Oh, that did lead to one of my funniest, one of my favorite behind the scenes stories with Dragon Ball, and that's just how Super Saiyan came to be.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it was the main factor, but it was because coloring in Goku's black hair took up a lot of time. So, like, to cut down on ink, just left his hair white in the manga.
Yeah, I mean, it worked. I mean, it is visually striking.
Yeah.
So is that all you got to say, mate?
But I just about the episode. In terms of the analysis, yeah.
All right, and Sean, do you have any? Because you're not really into Invincible or Dragon Ball. Did you kind of get more into these characters from the analysis?
Omni-Man's cool as hell. Like, his whole story arc got fully revealed from the comics, which is pretty dope.
Not
weird spelling of his
I
name.
wouldn't say fully.
But yeah,
And Bardock is Bardock.
I take it you weren't really that interested in Bardock.
No.
Nah. I mean, also
Although,
yeah.
I get really annoyed now every time I hear, like, these names in Dragon Ball. Like, bro was talking about, oh, he fought Gas. I'm just like, what the fuck? And Death Battle's like, they conquered the planet Cereal. Jesus Christ. No wonder they conquered the planet Cereal. All they need is milk.
Just picturing like Bardock in his grade 8 form. He just brings a giant carton of milk. And they're like, the end is nigh. You're gonna be Coco fucked. Or not. But yeah, to be honest, that was something I actually never knew. I must have missed it in a comic book. It's been a long time since I've read like the entire Invincible story, like from beginning to end. Great comic books, and there's a reason they didn't want to spoil something for Nolan. But yeah, I never knew his alien name was spelt like that. And I was like, I just thought, they just use Nolan like normally how like humans would use it. It's like, oh no, he literally based his name on his alien name, which that makes more sense, honestly.
That's kind of like with Martian Manhunter's name.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, great analysis on the story. Now, I guess it's time to talk about the fight. And first off, I did see a funny comment regarding when Bardock landed on the bug planet, which that is meant to be the bug planet, like the background. I recognized it from the show.
Yeah.
I saw a funny comment where someone went, Bardock, oh great, another bug planet, Omni-Man, and I took that personally.
I was about to say, like, I've been getting quotes even in the soundtrack if you go listen to it on Brandon's channel.
Oh, wait, is that actually... Oh, wait, are you saying like the bug...
It's how the soundtrack starts. It's how the soundtrack starts.
Right.
I'm gonna pull that up, hang on. You guys keep talking.
Yeah. Also, I'm actually playing the fight right now. I talked about how I wanted to see him do like a Mortal Kombat 1 intro reference, and yeah, they kind of did. They had them clash with their fist. I thought, oh, that was actually pretty cool. I would have loved it if, instead of, if Omni-Man or Bardock did the thing where they pushed the opponent away, sped around the world just to punch them again on the same spot.
I was about to say, or maybe it was just another MK1 reference, was just the pod, then him punching the pod. It's close enough to his scrap in MK1. Yeah, I told you.
Yeah, so... First of all, people have talked about how the background area does kind of feel rather empty and stuff like that. First of all, Death Battle's on a budget now and stuff like that. They don't have Torian to put in those, like, polygon people to just be killed by Doomsday.
Yeah. I mean, are you really going to ask Devil, like, oh, by the way, can you animate all the civilians on this bug planet just going about their day, reacting to the fight, and doing all this stuff in the background? Like,
yeah.
No, just have the two fighting. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Also, people screw off that. Oh, the background just doesn't. Could add more to the fight. No, it does. I saw a comment saying, I'm like, no, it doesn't. That's like saying, oh, the crowd in a WWE tournament's what makes the fight. It's like, no. It's like.
I mean, it used to back in the 90s.
No.
I mean, it can elevate it, but it's not the.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Thing.
If they did go that far to have, civilian casualties, kind of like with Hulk versus Doomsday, hey, I'll respect them for that. But we're not here to do that. We're here to see Bardock and Omni-Man fight, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. As distracting as Omni-Man's model is, I actually don't think it's that bad. I actually think it is still a pretty good looking model. It just looks very toy-like.
It was Devil Artemis' own model, to be fair.
Yeah, I had to give him props to that. He could have easily just gotten the MK1 model, he could have gotten the Fortnite one, but no, he was like, no, let me actually make one from the ground up. Honestly, I respect...
To be fair, I think when you make your own model, it's probably easier to rig the face and everything compared to like a pre-made model.
It is. When I was making a few SMF images for Lads Debate, or even some thumbnails, like trying to rig Dimitri to smile as he's bonking a zombie for our Left 4 Dead 2 video, that took a lot longer than you think. And if that was just took me 2 hours. It's like, if that took me 2 hours, think how long it would have taken like to do a full animated fight. Small things I liked, to be honest, right? One, I liked how they're using Omni-Man as he's like developed and become a better character. Like, instead of saying this planet isn't yours to conquer, which is a quote he says in the show to imply that he's going to conquer it, he says this planet's not for anyone to conquer. Which I was like, oh, that's cool. He's saying like, nah, this planet's his protected planet.
I kind of want to call him out on something, actually.
Oh yeah?
What made him think Bardock was there to conquer?
Let's think. A giant spaceship arrives, crashing into a planet, and he's... Actually, no, Omni-Man's technically the one that started the fight.
Yeah, he just jumped to conclusions thinking, oh, that guy's an alien. He's probably here to conquer the planet. Better kill him.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that's kind of what he does in the show as well. I mean, all the superheroes did have. Some random alien did arrive. They were tasked to kill them because they could be a threat.
Racist much?
Well, no, because they had Viltrumites in the universe of Invincible, so it makes sense why they were paranoid of aliens. So other highlights in this fight. One, even though I knew it was coming, it was still cool to finally see the Great Ape in action. In a death battle, I should say.
Yeah. I will say, like, the transformation is a bit quick, but... I mean, I wouldn't want to watch Bardock slowly transform.
Yeah, I mean...
Like he does in the show. Like, look, we know he's going to transform into a grey ape, just have it go like that.
Yeah. Plus, with Death Battle, they tend to, like, speed up a lot of transformations just because, one, it is just meant to be an entertaining fight.
Yeah.
Like, because if Death Battle actually acted as accurate to anime fights, this fight would have gone on for, like, 10 episodes of filler.
So true. Also, that shot when Omni-Man uses Bardock's tail as like something to whack him into space.
Yeah, that was good.
If they were, yeah, that's good. I'm just saying, if they were completely accurate, the tail would have shrunk by that point.
Yeah. Also, I just love how Bardock's whole shit could have been taken in 2 different ways. One, he's reacted to he's about to be hit by a giant giant. 2, he's just realizing, oh wow, I've just lost my transformation. Which I like. I also like Omni-Man's like confused face at first. He's like, what the hell? He's like, I didn't expect it to rip off that quickly. Seriously, it's so easy to pull off a Saiyan tail in Dragon Ball, it's funny.
Yeah, or, well, I mean, Piccolo pulls Gohan's off like really easily. Qua turns into scissors and cuts off Goku's.
Yeah, it's really crazy. This, like, before Super Saiyan, Great Ape's like, oh, this is the pinnacle of our power. Snip. Well, crap. My pinnacle of power has been thwarted by a pair of scissors.
Now that just envisions a comedy in my head of just like the Saiyan just goes back and I'm like Wile E. Coyote goes like whelp and then just falls straight down.
Just holds up a sign that goes, uh-oh.
Oh, I have a worse thing. The form gets undone by a pair of scissors, and it's just like, well, now they know how Ben 10 feels.
I feel like Sean's one was a bit funnier.
Yeah, for sure. I just saw the opportunity.
The dialogue in this fight was also great. Like, when Invincible, when Omni-Man's talking about Invincible, saying like his son sticking his nose in things where he's not ready for, and Bardock just going, "My sons would kick his ass." It's like, that's Bardock. That is Bardock, and also partially true.
One of them, yes.
Yeah, not Raditz. Yeah, Raditz is not beaten Invincible. Goku beat Invincible. Yeah, there's no debate about that. Do you know what's even crazier? The creator of Invincible says Omni-Man and Invincible could beat Superman. I'm just like, it's like, boy, do you not know what Superman could do? Superman would punch Invincible so hard, every evil version of Invincible would feel it. It's like,
I will say also, the whole line delivery can be credited to the voice actors. We had Tom Schultz come back as Omni-Man.
Yeah.
And Cameron Nicod comes in as Bardock.
I will say...
So that's what, I'm just like, so that was what's under Boba Fett's helmet. It was just Bardock the whole time.
Oh, God.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, to be fair, I could kind of see that. Boba's technically a Mandalorian. They're kind of similar to Saiyans.
And Cameron voiced Boba Fett, hence the joke.
No.
Yeah. Like, in terms of Cameron's voice, like, the screaming parts, like... Those were my highlights of his performance, but when he was just regularly talking, I don't know, he sounded a bit closer to Nappa than he did Bardock at points.
Okay, so I had to ask, mate, are you familiar with more the anime or the abridged voice?
Both.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I'll be honest, I
So,
thought...
then again, I'm thinking of Bardock in the Super Broly movie.
Right, okay. Because honestly, this Bardock was great. I think he's definitely more sounded to the original than the newer one.
That's what they were going for, fair enough.
Yeah. Like the whole...
It's been a while since I've seen the original special.
Yeah. Like his whole, my sons would kick his ass. It's like, yeah, that is... Like, I did get... even when he does that scream when he turns to a Super Saiyan, which I misheard it at first. I really thought he said, I won't let you take me from my wife, which I thought, this kind of...
That's why you're always here.
Oh, my microphone just fell.
But it's world.
Yeah, he said
it's
world.
just world.
Yeah. Also...
Like, not only did you two...
I kind of like it being my wife more.
Not only did you two think that, but so did some of our server, freelancer Amber, etc., etc.
Yeah, like, to be honest though, it does make more sense in this context because, one, Bardock, you're not near your planet, you're on some random bug planet. And two, it just makes more sense that he would think of his wife in the moment to turn Super Saiyan. That's a nitpick. Like, I'm not saying, oh, that's bad. I'm just saying
that's something I really like.
Also, there's little moments, I've just rewind it just before we get to the end of it. I just love when he turns into the Great Ape and he goes all roaring shockwaves. Omni-Man's just like, am I supposed to be impressed? Like, because he would be like that moment. He's seen monsters like Great Apes. It's like, yeah, that's not really new to Omni-Man. Like, because I like that, because Great Ape is meant to be seen as this imposing force from other planets. But to Omni-Man, he's just like, Thursdays.
Does that raise anyone's confidence in Hulk versus Godzilla now?
Turok did mention that, and to be honest, I did kind of have doubts about Hulk. Well, I don't have doubts anymore, because Omni, how they did this fight was really well, because I was going on, how long is the Great Ape going to be on screen for? Is it going to be like only for a few seconds? No, I was actually there for a good amount of time, and they got to throw hands.
You got to throw hands, see Omni-Man get dunked, and a kaiju laser beam from the mouth.
And also, this is kind of a small thing I like in this fight, and I'm sure Death Battle have done this as well in previous fights. I like the fact Bardock, when he either hit Omni-Man or stuff like that, had the Dragon Ball sound effect, but anytime Omni-Man flew or struck Bardock, it was more akin to the show, where it's like sound breaking but realistic sounding. Because even earlier Death Battles, even when it was like Marvel versus DC, they always added the Dragon Ball sound effect, which didn't really fit for the characters. It was still cool, because a lot of sprite animations back then all used Dragon Ball sound. Even I'm guilty of that. Like Scorpion versus Ghost Rider, my first ever animated fight, I used Dragon Ball sound effects. But I just like that detail. They could have easily just had Omni-Man also having Dragon Ball attack sound effects with punches, but no, they were like, no, let's actually give him the sound effects you would hear from the show. Like, I respect that little detail. Even when he's flying, like when Bardock flies, you hear that little sound effect, but Omni-Man, you hear the from when he breaks the sound barrier. It's a cool detail. Like, they did not half-ass this episode. I want to make it clear before we get to our conclusion.
No.
No, they cooked. And they even did a pretty good fake out with Omni-Man, because when Bardock's about to strike with his final attack, they did the whole thing when the character's pushing against a beam before they get disintegrated, but Omni-Man just threw it over his head. I was like, okay, I really thought that was the kill shot. Especially because the music was starting to fade out as well.
Yeah, I did start to think, like, okay, that's a little too quick. Like if it was just, oh, Bardock goes Super Saiyan, blast, end the fight, like, that kind of would have been a bit lame.
I guess we've been kind of also building up to this, and especially since we've been talking about this for a while now. Granted, most of this is also just the intro that will need editing down. So, let's talk about the finale, because this is where my criticism comes from the fight, I should be clear. So, we had this really epic build-up, like, with Omni-Man screaming, "Your time is up, Saiyan!" They clash fists and stuff like that. Especially after that epic little, like, throwing the beam away. Bardock gets his arm blown off, and he dies. I was like, what? First of all, I was saying what because Omni-Man won, but two, I'm like, yo, I'm not a Bardock fan, but man, that is such a lame way to end a character.
Yeah,
I mean, he does fall into a star.
Do we?
We don't even
See him get
we don't
disintegrated.
even see that part.
Like he has
Like
a really
we
cool,
talked about this last night.
He has a cool end line, like, "You said Saiyan, remember that." Like, that was a cool line to go out on, but really, an arm being blown off is your kill. Like, okay, you know how we said the premiere for Ant-Man and Atom, the fight wasn't like, it wasn't that great, but the ending was memorable. This had a really great fight, but such a meh end to Bardock.
Well,
So-
I think
Could this in theory imply Boba Fett and Blake tougher than Bardock?
In a way, I guess so.
I'm joking.
Yeah, I know.
I was gonna make a joke earlier from the ending. I'll be like, wow, surprisingly, Homelander did more damage to Omni-Man than Bardock did.
I mean, Bardock did do damage. Like, he was all bloodied up, like, at that last point. Before Super Saiyan, Homelander was clean. After Super Saiyan, no, he's got, like, blood all over him.
Yeah. Actually, do you know what? Even though you're making a joke about Blake and Boba Fett, that's a good point, though. You know, we like seeing, like, damages on characters throughout the fight. Blake gets her arm chopped off and still delivers a killing blow. And same with Boba Fett. He gets his arm chopped off and he cauterizes his wound with a lightsaber. That's metal.
Which was, yeah, that was badass as hell.
In this fight, like, I would have appreciated, like, I don't know, he got his arm blown off, and then maybe Omni-Man does, like, his brutality where he flies behind him and snaps his neck. Or something. Now, obviously, this is meant to be more of an Omni-Man that's more heroic now, not bloodthirsty. Given his last quote where he feels, like, distaste for what he's done, because at this point, he's trying to move away from his, like, warrior side. At the same time, though, it's like, you know, this is a death fight. You could have had it be where he punched through his chest or something like that. That's a classic Dragon Ball death. Characters getting, like, holes punched in their chest. Like, maybe he punches off the arm, but then he goes in for another punch, and, you know, that could have been a shock. Like, oh, God, he just punched through his chest.
That could have also harkened back to Goku's first death.
Yeah, it's like, I didn't think about that at the moment, but yeah, do you want to add more to it?
I will also just add, like, this is a Bardock who had just used up, like, most of his energy by that point.
I'm gonna go into that sort of thing, but yeah, it's just so unceremonious. Just like Bardock just going out like that. I'm not. Here's the thing: I'm an Omni-Man fan more than a Bardock fan, but even I'm saying like, nah, you kind of done Bardock dirty. Do you guys agree with that? Like, you know, the ending of that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about it yesterday. A lot of people felt disappointed with the deaths. Like, even if they added like a thing where you could just see like the sun kind of explode as Bardock kind of like falls in, like a poof sound effect or anything, like in the cartoon, that would have made it a little bit better. But it felt like it dragged on for way too long as well.
I will say I do love Omni-Man's final line, where it's just that silence, wipes his face. Fuck.
Yeah.
Now we can't say that in this video.
You could say it. I'm just going to censor it.
That's what I mean. We can't technically say it.
I actually saw a comment under the episode that made me laugh. Omni-Man, once he realizes how pissed off people are gonna be.
That's good. Right, so I think now it's time we talk about the controversy, because do we agree with this outcome? And I'm here to say, at least from me, I do not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree either.
I do not buy Bardock could lose.
So
Theoretically, could he win some fights? Sure, I think Omni-Man could win some. But if we're talking about, like, Bardock who's achieved Super Saiyan and, who's, got a lot of power behind him, who could be compared to King Vegeta, yeah, I don't buy Omni-Man could win the majority.
Yeah, I will give props. They brought up the whole fact that, well, yeah, he has Super Saiyan. He's not a master of the form. And without that mastery, it drains his energy. That is something I actually forgot about.
Okay, here's my counter to that, though.
Because I'm so used to, it being practically nothing for every Saiyan afterwards.
But here's the thing, though. What about Goku and Vegeta? Yeah, they did get exhausted after a while, but there's been times in, like, Goku using Super Saiyan for the first time, he was able to fight for a long time against Frieza. And we know how powerful Frieza is. Heck, even characters like Vegeta,
it might
Gohan,
also be
Trunks. Like, Trunks
it might also be
Saiyan, and he was pretty good at the form despite not being a master at it.
Here's my counterpoint to your counterpoint. Goku had a lot more training compared to Bardock.
At the time he used Super Saiyan, no. He literally just gained that form.
Yeah, when he was fighting Frieza, he just went Super Saiyan for the first time, and they fought for a long time.
And Bardock, like, sure, maybe Goku's more trained now. Bardock was definitely more of a warrior in terms of, like, battling space combatants than Goku was. Namek was Goku's first time going into space and meeting all these otherworldly, powerful warriors. Well,
technically his first time in space was when he sent, I forget his name. Oh, Monster Carrot. He sent Monster Carrot to the moon.
Okay, you know...
Jesus, these names.
Okay, mate, you know what I'm talking about, though. Like, meeting these warriors from outer space.
Yeah, sorry.
Right, there's a time for the nerd emoji moment. This ain't it.
So I was also going to say, YouTube has this feature on mobile where they organize comments into certain points. There's like 3 points that kind of stand out in the comments section. The first one being the whole Bardock versus gas feed. A lot of people thought they undermined the whole thing.
Yeah, I remember Robuscus brought this up. It said the gas is stronger than the Ginyu Force. Yeah. And that didn't get brought up in the episode.
Yeah, okay, here's my actual counter to that, though. Like, the Ginyu Force compared to most of Frieza's forces, yeah, they're kind of considered, like, the A tier, like, kind of like the task force, like, SAS of Frieza's forces.
Yeah, his elite squad.
But Frieza still looked down on them. Like, he still saw them as, like, they're the strongest, but, I'm pretty sure King Vegeta could also beat the Ginyu Force. Like, no doubt.
And the other point that was brought up in this comment section is no one didn't destroy that planet by himself.
Yeah. Now, this is a thing I would actually defend Nolan on, because, yes, technically he did aid in destroying the planet, and technically that planet is much larger than all the planets that King Vegeta blew up. So
also, wasn't there a thing that someone destabilized the core ahead of time? Because if they didn't do that and the 3 Viltrumites flew into the core, they would have just straight up died.
Okay, no, this
I don't know, because of the whole
yeah, that's pretty inconsistent.
I was gonna say
characters than Viltrumites have survived planet explosions in the Invincible series.
So
yeah,
I just remember hearing that brought up.
Plus, they still flew through the core of a planet that would have exploded on them, and you see the burnt marks on them, so it's very clear that... But again, no, this is the thing I do defend, though, like, Omni-Man, he did destroy a much larger planet, even assuming he only took, let's say he only did 20% of the work. Yeah, he's technically destroying, 5 Earths through, a certain percentage of this planet.
I think people are still saying that number that they showed on screen should have been divided by 3 then.
Yeah, because it was 3 Viltrumites doing it.
Yeah.
The other thing as well is, though, that I kind of agree with the durability thing, talking about how, the coalition of planets had no weapons to destroy, Viltrumites, which is true. I've read the comic books, and yeah, that was true. They literally had nothing. They tried to destroy their blood. It turns out their blood is too dense to destroy. So it really came down to having Viltrumite-like strength. Because that rain thing, I didn't even consider that at first. When I heard that, I was like, okay, that's actually a good point. That is actually a really powerful thing to destroy. However, the downside is that, you know, Bardock having Ki would have definitely made him much better in terms of, like, you know, being able to do damage with him. Because it does take a while to kill a Viltrumite with, like, energy-based weapons. But given the fact, like, we've seen Ki be able to destroy even Sun, that I do think that would be enough to kill Omni-Man. The other thing which people have brought up on Twitter and things, yeah, this screen here, which I don't have it in the menu here, but I'm pretty sure you guys know what it's going to be, and I'll put it on screen for people. Yeah, base, like, they talk about, like, Goku's trip to Namek was only, like, you know, 9.5 trillion times the speed of light. And then Omni-Man being 20 billion times the speed of light. But somehow Omni-Man's coming out a bit more higher than that. Which
okay, so
doing the
I
math,
can defend this.
You can?
Yeah, so okay, it's because of how quick the edit goes, like it's just immediate like stack on the Super Saiyan multiplier. I had to go like super slow-mo and keep pausing to make sure, okay, the base form speed was still shown higher in the graphic, and yeah, it was.
Let me just keep playing that just to check.
It's super brief.
Okay, well, because of the visual of that... Okay, but because of the visual of that, because it's literally blink and you miss it, it does kind of just make it... And people are saying this, it just makes it feel as though they're saying Omni-Man is much faster than, you know, base Goku. Now, obviously, you know, that's the thing. Now, the other thing people bring up is... This is the thing I do also defend, like... Yeah, experience Omni-Man does have. He's 2,000 years old.
Oh, for sure.
He also has more experience conquering planets than someone like Bardock. Even in terms of combat, like... Bardock is a... This is something I didn't even see from people on, like, the comments. Bardock's a warrior who spends his time, like, you know... He's a brutalizer, like, he tends to aim... Like, this is Dragon Ball in a nutshell. They aim for, like, you know... awesome points with their fighting skills, whereas Omni-Man is more like he's down for just getting things done efficiently, and that's the case in the Invincible show. Like when he got ambushed by soldiers, he didn't try and go for style points, he just immediately flew through one man he just wanted to fight over with, grabbed another one, just crushed his head. So Omni-Man's more an efficient killer than Bardock. Bardock's more like he wants the thrill of the fight, whereas Omni-Man wants to get the fight over with, which, yeah, makes sense. However, here's the thing that I kind of feel as though Death Battle also contradict themselves. Experience has never really played that much of a big factor in a lot of fights. In fact, there's been plenty of fights where a character could be... I could definitely buy Omni-Man stronger, physically. However, there's been plenty of fights where a character has been overwhelmingly strong, they just couldn't beat faster opponents. Like Balrog versus TJ combo. Balrog was clearly said that was clearly stronger, even by just a small amount. But TJ
was stronger.
Was he stronger?
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
All right.
It was slight, but TJ was stronger.
I'll have to look that up. But
a good example, Sanji versus Rock Lee.
Right, yeah. So you can have characters that can be overwhelmingly strong, but you know the character that's physically faster, has more versatile weaponry, puts them at a much more greater like power.
It can depend on how wide the gap is.
Yeah. Well, let's also talk about experience. Like, there's a lot of characters who are much younger than, like, and I know some people disagree with some of these matches, but I feel for the sake of their argument, you know, they talk about characters like Sonic and Mario, you know. I can't remember the age, but, like, the first episode, like, you could argue, like, Mario was more of an experienced hero, but Sonic was just faster and stronger. Now, obviously, they've retconned that because they do say Sonic would lose to Mario now.
Yeah, well, also the original included Archie. The rematch didn't.
Okay, I guess you could say that episode is still accurate then.
Yeah.
It's just that thing, like, I just really... I don't want to act like I'm really trying to nitpick them, because, you know, with Death Battle being around for so long, they might make some contradictions based on what they do differently now compared to what other ones. I do want to end my point saying this though. I do disagree with this episode. I do see a lot of flaws in the research. I still think this episode is a 9 out of 10.
Yeah. I actually found a black box that's, well, it's kind of a contradiction that really bothers me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have a read of this.
Okay. Well, I'll put it on screen for people, and then I'll read it.
Basically, base Bardock briefly survived this attack from Frieza, which is, this much of TNT. As a Super Saiyan, he'd scale above Saiyan Saga Vegeta, who did this weaker feat.
Okay, that is weird. Yeah, that is
What?
weird. Yeah, they're probably going to have to explain a lot in the upcoming episode, like Death Battle cast.
Maybe they'll do like a Q&A again like they used to do at some point. Maybe for like
Probably.
a members only thing.
Yeah. Now, but yeah, my final say on this episode is it's still a 9 out of 10 episode. Yeah, the death for Bardock was pretty lackluster and the analysis was not its strongest. Am I happy Omni-Man won? Sure. It just came at the cost of a fan favorite character kind of being downplayed. Now, I don't want to be that sort of person saying, oh, they exaggerate Omni-Man. Because of how Death Battle and Verse community do scaling, this is a thing that people even contradicted us on when it came to Lance debate. Scaling is really a not just convoluted, but sometimes it doesn't make that much sense when you really think about it. This character beat this character, so that means this other character that fought this character must scale to that, right? It's like, not entirely. Like, Batman's beaten Superman, but does that make him on the same level? Or, heck, even Joker has defeated Wonder Woman in hand-to-hand combat. Deathstroke in the Injustice game managed to beat Cyborg, Wonder Woman, and Raven. Are you really going to tell me after everything? And this is Raven when she's using the Trigon form, and thanks to Death Battle's Phoenix versus Raven, we know how powerful Trigon Raven is.
Yeah, but they can also say, oh, but that's like Injustice. It's a different continuity and stuff.
Oh no, the Trigon in that game still is powerful enough to destroy reality.
Making more mental than Deathstroke would be considered alternate canon, yeah.
Yeah, but even if you were to assume, oh, this is a weaker version, how weak are we talking? Are we saying this Raven and Trigon can't
I
destroy
never said
reality?
weaker. I just said different continuity.
Well, his origin story is exactly the same as the main line. And not only that, okay, you want to go, okay then. Mainline Deathstroke's beaten Superman in hand-to-hand combat. In fact, his armor's strong enough to survive blows from him. Mate, shut up before you go, oh my again. So that's the thing I hate about scaling. That's why I'm just not a huge fan of it in Versus in general, because it can contradict things. And people complain about this, scaling Omni-Man to this thing, like the whole ring thing. But given how how they did it with Dimitri scaling him to Rhea, why is this one a contradiction?
A lot of people, I think, were just like not buying the scaling. Like, even leading up to the episode, I think it was a major thing because I check out the G1 prediction blog sometimes. Everyone on the G1 blog went for Bardock, even though they were and they even said, I think, that they didn't fully buy the whole solar disc scaling thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing that I'm always confused by with the Versus community, because I don't agree with them scaling Omni-Man to that. But I've always said this on the podcast. I don't agree with scaling in general. I think it can really lead to like iffy contradiction. But people say, oh, but because this character does it, it's fine. It's scaling. But it's like, why? It'd be like, I don't know, in scaling in real life. Let's say I managed to beat up like an ex-military guy, but then I don't know, my sister managed to hit my ass in a fight. Does that mean my sister could also beat the Vietnamese soldier? Not Vietnamese, a veteran soldier. I'm not saying I can, but that's the idea I get with scaling. So what they're doing here is how I've always seen scaling from, when is it they started really going into the scale? I think it was Ryu versus Jin. Based on that, this is kind of how they did it back then. And even that episode, I mean, now I'm definitely iffy on thanks to Tekken 8. But, I was iffy on that episode as well, because I don't think you can fairly scale Ryu to Akuma, because they're both very different warriors on how they fight and how they use their power. So, I don't agree with this episode, but it was still an entertaining episode. I actually loved it. I still say this is a 9 out of 10 episode.
I will say this: Omni-Man has had two. Omni-Man has had 2 good episodes, 2 terrible song track names. Seriously, I'm not a big fan of the Death Battle track name that they gave it. Solid State Invincible.
I hear Solid, I immediately think of Snake.
Well, I suppose it matches the characters. Mate, do you have any final say?
It's a dumb name.
Before we move to the next time?
Yeah. I mean, I may not, agree, but I'm also not that broken up about it.
I mean, your reaction said otherwise. I think yours and Brobuska's reaction to the death, or, the outcome is probably...
I was just like, hold up, wait, really?
Yeah, it's the fact you both said
Really?
It's the fact you both said it at the same tone. I'll play it on screen for people,
How? Wait a minute. Really?
When I watched both your reactions, I was just amazed at how similar it was. I was like, I watched your reaction first.
It's because they're the same person.
Oh god, this whole time, mate's just like, you all thought you
You
had a
thought the bros were led by Bobuscus, but it was I, mate!
And I think that's a good segue into the next time.